Hi guys, and welcome to Finish It Friday. So when we left on Wednesday, we had our card base, which was 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. We had a layer. This is the fresh freesia. This is 4 by 5 1/4. And then we had a piece of vellum that is the same size, 4 by 5 1/4. We had a length of ribbon, and we had some sort of layering punch or layering dies. Okay, let's get started. So the first thing you're going to do is, this vellum is from the mini catalog, and it has different sheets in it. Some are this flocked, is it vellum? Flocked velour. And the others are holographic, and I'll show you that after a bit. We're going to use this. Now with vellum, you usually have to either adhere it with your glue where you can't be seen. A lot of places we're going to hide it with our ribbon. So what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to put little pieces of seal behind these leaves. You see, just little bits. Oh, and it's hard to do because they're so heavy. It's so high up. So you know what? I'm going to show you how I'm doing it on most of it. I'm going to run a line of vellum all the way across. I'm sorry, a line of, wow, this doesn't want to move. A line of the Stampin' Seal all the way across. All right, we're going to put it down. I'm going to get that black spot off of there. We're going to put it down. Now, you can kind of see it back there, but this is where we're going to put the ribbon in there. Because by putting the ribbon over it, you're not even going to notice it. So let's go ahead, and what I'll do here is here's where the glue is. So I'm going to put a little bit of tape there, a little bit of adhesive there. And I'm going to run this across where that vellum, where that adhesive is. And just fold that back under, and it's going to catch that adhesive you put on the other side. Beautiful, huh? Let me go ahead and take out my snips. Go ahead and cut that off. You also, if you want to keep it in place more and you think that's not going to hold very well, good old Scotch tape always works too. So let me just go ahead and oops, sorry, I hope I didn't get my head in the shot there. And if so, can you tell me if I need to go ahead and invest in my first die to cover up the grays? All right, so there we go. It's a little crooked. We'll make it a little bit more like that. All right, then we're going to go ahead, we're going to take our layering die. I think I usually punch both out at the same time. Why not? Because you're going to use them eventually, right? So let me go ahead. Let me do it. There we go. Let's figure out which way I want to do it. I think I want to do it this way. I'm not putting this down yet. I think I'll do it that way. I'm going to use the Let It Snow from Joyful Flurry. Let me go ahead and show you that from the mini catalog, the July to December. I'm going to also take my white craft pad, and I'm going to put a couple snowflakes on there before I stamp over in the black. Now this crafting takes a little bit longer to dry, so just try not to smudge it. I do not like using the heat gun to dry that. I think it tends to, not that it darkens it, as it dries it's going to become more opaque anyway. I just like letting it air dry by itself, Put that right over the top. I'm going to put this on my white, since my basic white, since I don't want to turn this upside down and run the risk of smudging it. Then I'm going to take a couple pop dots. I have my fan on. You know, we had a couple nights where it got down in the 30s here. And so after a week of that, I finally turned off the air conditioning and put on the furnace. And after about a week and a half, good old Chicagoland, here we go back to 70-degree plus temperatures during the day. All right, let me go ahead. Usually you'll put this on your layer, but since I still don't know if that craft white is dry, I'm just going to go ahead and go like this. And there you are. Fairly simple card. Just using that vellum as your main focal point. Let me go ahead and show you. And if you want to, you can put it down a little further if you wanted to. I just really want the vellum to be the star of the show. All right, let me go ahead and show you. Let me put that lid back on there before I lose it. This was a swap I got, again, way back when, from Amy Waldhart. She might have been the one I did last time. I don't know. So this was the swap I got from her. So I'm going to show you some of the different ways and different techniques she used here with hers. All right. So here's the one we just did. Let me go ahead and show you this one. I'm going to bring it up a little closer to the camera. So what we did on this one, this is the vellum. I stamped with the craft white first, let it dry for a while, and then stamped with the coordinating fresh freesia over the top, so it looks kind of like a shadow. So see how that, let me bring it up a little more. So you see how that looks all shadowed? All right. And I did pretty much all the same color schemes here, so you can see how the vellum, if you do different things to it, how it can create. Here I did the plain vellum, and I stamped on this with the StazOn. So your StazOn jet black. And then let it dry, and then turned it upside down and colored on the back side. I don't know if you can see that. See how it's all chalky there? That's using our soft pastels assortment. So color on the back side, so then when it comes over, it looks kind of more opaque. I was experimenting on that, so that's why it doesn't look that great. So here's this one. Can you see how I've used those different soft pastels on the back? So see, nothing's going to rub off here because it's all in the back of your card. I forget, I have to go opposite. So that's using the pastels. This is running your vellum with an embossing folder through the Stampin' Cut embossing machine. So see how when it runs it through, it gives it that textured look. Now this, the bumpy side is on the bottom. Let me show you a couple other pieces. Here was the wintry. This is the side, the bumpy side. This is the back side. So let me grab some dark cardstock so you can see the difference. So there is bumpy side down. There is bumpy side up. So here's where the bumps are. Here also is the painted texture, paint texture. So again, you can see how it breaks through that vellum and gives you that white look. Fabulous quick way to get a quick look. So here's that other vellum I was telling you about. You have 3 sheets of the flocked or 3 sheets of the iridescent. Now this is the polka dot. Again, just use that craft white. Use that trim. Love that trim. Let me show you the vellum pieces. I think I've shown these before. I'm not sure. So, and I don't know if I've used all of them or not. All right, so there's the flocked. So that is more there. There's that flocked. Here's this holographic. This holographic. Oh, so maybe it's, is it 8 sheets? 6. So you get one of each. So you would have this, which is more solid. This is more, see how this is solid? This is more the lines and the polka dots. That's in the iridescent or the holographic, whatever you want to call it. And then on your flocking, you have the polka dots. Again, the more linear, and then the solids. Alright guys, so here are your examples, all pretty much the same color scheme, but using different techniques. Flock, holographic, or iridescent. The shadow effect, using the craft white and stamp pad. Using your pastels to color the back side of it. You could also use markers. The blends gets kind of dark, so your regular markers would work. You have to let it dry. And then running it through an embossing folder so the vellum actually gets embossed and turns white. Alright guys, give me a thumbs up if you like this video. Tell your friends, have them subscribe. And as always, have a great Friday, and we'll see you tomorrow.